What do you think of the BCS?
Well, I think it's successful, Steve. Basically, what the BCS tries to accomplish is to preserve the bowl system while providing a game between number 1 and number 2 to compete for a national championship on the field, while at the same time maintaining the regular season is what we think is the best in all of sports. We feel it's the best system we've had yet to provide a platform to match number 1 and number 2. Has it been controversial and imperfect at times? Yes. But has it been successful? I think yes, particularly when you look at the 57 years prior to 1992 when number 1 and number 2 met only 8 times. Now they meet every year.
Congressman, what do you think of the BCS?
Well, the only part of what he just said that I agree with is that it does preserve the current bowl system. It is not designed to actually determine who the national championship Division 1A football team is, and that's what a playoff system would do. I'm not opposed to the BCS. I'm not opposed to the current bowl structure, but if the NCAA can have a playoff format in the other football divisions and in every other major sport, you either have a playoff in the NCAA or you have a national, like track meet or swimming meet. It defies logic that in the one that's the most popular, arguably you could say basketball might be as popular, you don't have a playoff where you know whoever wins the final playoff game is the champion.
John, what is the BCS designed to do?
Well, it's a hybrid, Steve, and it's designed to maintain a bowl system that has been a terrific thing for college football for many, many years, as well as the local communities in which those bowls are held. So that the one thing you have in college football that you don't have in the other divisions or in any other sports is a historic and traditional bowl system. And the BCS is a hybrid that's aimed at maintaining that bowl system and the opportunities that gosh, over 5,000 student athletes have to participate in that bowl system. And at the same time, as I said earlier, offer the opportunity for number 1 and number 2 to compete on the field.
John, why not incorporate the bowls into a playoff system?
Well, you know, I think that's something that people have talked about and will continue to talk about to some degree. But I think the real answer is that it would minimize the number of bowl games that we have. If you go to an 8-team playoff or even a 16-team playoff, you basically, I think, in time, would be eliminating the other bowl games. And right now there are 34 bowl games that give 68 teams the opportunity to participate in the postseason. And any other factor in it, as I mentioned earlier, is that the importance of the regular season in college football. It's unlike any other regular season in sports.
Congressman, why do you think that the powers that be don't institute a playoff that incorporates the bowls?
You know, that's a good question. I guess the money the current system generates, they prefer that. I don't know, although a playoff system would generate just as much. But I want to comment on what the commissioner just said, that somehow we would destroy the current bowls. He just admitted there are 34 bowls right now. Use those 34 bowls.
Commissioner?
Let 2 of them be entryways into the other 32, so you have the top 64 teams. Cut the regular season from 13 games or 12 games back down to 10 where it was when I was in college. Use the existing system. Use the smaller bowls as venues for the stepping stone to the Orange Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl. Rotate that around. Now, I'm not saying that my bill doesn't say the NCAA has to use every bowl, but if that's all they want to do, they can use the existing bowl structure and make it work.
Commissioner?
Well, if you did that, some of the structure could be used, but what I'm referencing, Congressman, are the number of games, number of bowl games that you would try to maintain outside of a playoff system, and I don't think over any extensive period of time they would have the interest level to continue.
Congressman,
I think they'd have a higher interest level if the people that watch the Houston Bowl or the Fort Worth Bowl, I'm trying to think of some of the newer, lower-level bowls, know that the team that wins that goes to the next level. I would think that would create more interest.
Congressman, why bring this up in Congress now?
Well, again, that's a good question. the BCS is just never going to work. Now, if the BCS is about protecting the existing bowl structure, it will work. But if the BCS proclaims itself to generate the national championship football team each year, it will never work.
But Congressman, respectfully, why now? Why bring it up now?
Because the new president, President-elect Obama, says he favors a playoff. The new chairman of the Energy and Commerce Committee, Henry Waxman of California, says he favors a playoff. My Democratic co-sponsor, Bobby Rush, who is the subcommittee chairman with jurisdiction, is for a playoff. We might actually get a bill that becomes law unless the NCAA decides to do it on their own. We don't make this bill effective until 2011, so you know, I would rather the NCAA do what they should have done 10 or 15 years ago, but I have the feeling that if they don't, this bill's going to go somewhere.
Commissioner, what impact does it have when politicians give their opinions?
Well, we welcome all opinions, and certainly from Congress, Steve. What we're looking for is what's best for college football and the athletes that play it, the fans that watch it. And the sport is healthier than it's ever been in its history at this point in time. And currently, the majority of college presidents, commissioners, athletic directors, and coaches, and there are some that disagree, but at this point, the BCS is what we've been able to agree upon. And the BCS is not a it's not a pure democracy. It's a group of conferences it's a group of conferences getting together to see what we can agree on to move forward. And the BCS is what we've been able to agree on at this point in time.
Congressman, we have about 40 seconds left. In an ideal situation, what would you suggest?
I would suggest that Commissioner Swofford get with the other commissioners of the Big 12 and the SEC and the Pac-10 and the Big 10 and the ACC and come up with a system that uses the BCS or something very close to it, sit down with the broadcasters and develop their own playoff system in the next year or so that we don't have to move forward with legislation. I'm a big college football fan.
Commissioner, what do you think is an ideal situation?
Steve, I think you know, we are where we are because we can all agree to do so. And until that changes with the majority of college presidents and athletic directors, commissioners, and coaches, I think what we need to be working on is to make the BCS the best that it can possibly be, and that's what we are continually trying to do.
Gentlemen, I know sports fans around the country will continue to debate. We certainly appreciate both of you debating on Outside the Lines. John Swofford of the ACC and the current BCS chairman, and the Republican representative from Texas, Joe Barton. Thank you for your time on Outside the Lines.
Thank you.